Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Alladzi anzala as-sakinata fi qulubil mu'minin liyazdadu imanan ma'a imanihim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulil amin wa ala alihi wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsan ila yaumiddin. Our honorable guest speakers for today, Madam Anna Maria Tiozzo, founder and chairperson of the World Halal Development Italy. Welcome, Anna. Thank you for being with us today.
Assalamu alaikum. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. And it's my pleasure to introduce what is the market and the situation of halal certification in Italy.
All right, thank you, Anna. And then we have our second guest speaker for today, Mr. Taka Hashimoto, director from the JL Connect, Sendirian Berhad, and the Halal and Business Consultant for Malaysia and Japan. Welcome, Mr. Taka Hashimoto. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me this good opportunity to share my knowledge to the Malaysian student.
All right. Okay. Yang berusaha Associate Professor Dr. Nur Hidayah Hashim, Dean Academy of Contemporary Islamic Studies, ACIS, UiTM, and all top management and my colleague from ACIS, UiTM, Yang berusaha Dr. Muhammad Zazali Muhammad Sharif, and Yang berusaha Mr. Muhammad Nur Ismail, Head Centers from Faculty of Hotel and Tourism Management, UiTM, my beloved guests and friends from UiTM, outside UiTM, from Italy and Japan, Indonesia, and some other countries. Last but not least, to all my beloved students and all participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and a very good evening to everyone. Welcome to our global learning session at ACIS for the third series for the code of CTU695, that is for Halal Standard, Food Law and Sanitation for this semester. Okay, this subject is being taken by almost 119 students of UiTM, and it is an honor for us to have Madam Anna Maria Tiozzo and Mr. Taka Hashimoto to be with us today. Despite their hectic schedules all over the world, they are willing to join us to meet the students in this session. On behalf of ACIS, we would like to express our utmost thanks and appreciation to our speakers for making time to be with us now. In order to make this session as a blessing one for the Muslim, let us begin our session today with the recitation of Surah Al-Fatihah. Okay, we now proceed to the highlight of this program with their illustrated corporate profiles. And with their wealth of experience as a corporate leaders, we are here to download valuable knowledge from our honorable guest speaker for today. And with great enthusiasm, allow me to introduce the first speaker, Madam Anna Maria Tiozzo. This is a brief biodata on Madam Anna, a great friend of mine, a great sister of mine. Okay. Aisha Tiozzo is a Muslim Italian professional active in the field of export strategies as well as in the impact of faith-based practices on markets, particularly but not limited to Southeast Asia and Gulf countries. In 2007, she founded the Italian Halal Certification Center, WHAD, or World Halal Development, and also known as Halal Roma. She was the first woman in the sector at that time. World Halal Development in Italy has a particular competence in the field of halal cosmetic, chemicals that drove the company to be chosen by the biggest international beautiful exhibition, to create and drive the first worldwide pavilion of halal cosmetic and halal Muslim-friendly spa. This one I love. I love spa. All right, Anna Maria was honored to personally train the 12 personal chef of the President of Italian Republic and the chef from of the circle of officials of Ministry Defense on how to cook halal for foreign delegations. In 2016, she was among the 500 most influential personalities in the Islamic economy by Isfin Forbes Guides Islamica 500 for her achievement in cosmetic and fashion. With her excellent biodata and without any delay, I would like to invite Madam Anna Maria Tiozzo to deliver her presentation on the topic Halal Implementation and Challenges in Italy. Over to you, Anna.
Assalamu alaikum. Again, thank you so much for inviting me and to give me the chance to share something about halal implementation in Italy. Under what we decided, I will give a brief overview on what is the situation of halal in Italy, because I think that the reason me and my honorable brother, Mr. Hashimoto, are in this section is that it is probably interesting for our students to know about halal in non-Islamic countries.
Yes,
because
exactly.
both Italy and Japan are non-Islamic countries in which we have implementation of halal certification. So
Yes.
I think it is very interesting for you to understand what was the development of this system for Italy and for Japan, and for Italy particularly because Italy is known as the capital of Catholicism. Okay, and we have the Pope in Rome. So a big share of our population is Christian. And to think that halal certification was implemented so well in Italy 10 years ago was a dream. So when I founded the WAD Italia, the Italian Halal Certification Center that for first implemented the international regulations standards, it was like a dream. I will share with you an overview of this development, but obviously after the presentation, if you want to go more technically on standards, because I know that this section is halal standard, the food law and sanitization. So if you later want to go deeply in which procedure we do and which standards, obviously you ask me in the question. And I am very pleased to share my presentation. Let me try at least to share it. Okay, as you teach me, I think you can see my presentation from the beginning.
Okay, you can see it.
Okay, fantastic.
Right.
I want to start with this this picture because I want to introduce the fact that I'm talking about halal in a non-Islamic country, but you cannot read now because it is in Italian, but I am reporting, I made of you people and tribes so that you could travel and know each other. Okay, it is a part, obviously, of Quran. And in this picture, you can see all the different schools of Islam. But why I want to show you this picture? Because this picture is a mistake. Because when you say Islam, now you say 1/3 of the mondial population. And so there is no geolocalization of Muslims in the words. because all the states you can see in this picture, in all of these states we have Muslim, and obviously in Italy too. So in Italy we are officially 2.4 million of Italian Muslim. That means quite 4.5% of population. But I have to say that this is government data, because it is difficult to know exactly the number of Muslims in Italy, because data on faith are considered sensible data. So there is not an official number. It is only a statistic from the government, but from our communities, we know that we are quite 4 million of Muslims in Italy. And obviously not only immigrants. What I mean, in the beginning, Muslims in Italy was only immigrants, first, second, and now third generation. But now we have quite 10,000 million Italian Muslim like me, so that have a mother and father that was not coming from immigration. What happened in Italy about halal? In the beginning, obviously was, let me see, was only the food. So in the beginning, when we was talking about halal in Italy, it was only about meat. And so was in quite all the 57 OIC countries. To export to all those countries, we needed halal certification. And in Italy, when we heard about halal certification, it was only about fresh meat. So the first development was from fresh meat to frozen meat. And so frozen meat needed much more to be halal certified. And the second process was from raw meat to processed meat, so to hamburger and to all the ingredients going into processed plate. The third development was from meat to ready-to-eat dishes, and then from meat and processed food, and from meat to cheese, to sweet, and all other categories of food. From food to drinks, yes, also the water, and also the non-alcoholic drinks, but as a certification center, we don't really agree about something like halal wine or halal beer. Anyway, there was a development, and from meat, finally, to fish, to farmed fish. The development in certification, in the beginning, in Italy, there was only single slaughterman, Muslim slaughterman, that was printing the halal certificate in the meat. That was all 20 years ago. And the second development was there was some imam or some Islamic community that was controlling the meat and putting some halal stamp, but we could not really talk about a certification. The second development was from imam or Islamic community to halal certification center. What is the difference? I know that I am talking with students that study food halal certification and food law, so I'm sure they know the difference is there is no certification if there is no standard. So what's the meaning of certification is there is a third party that check if one party, that is usually a company, implemented a system that is given by a standard. So if we don't have a standard, we don't have a certification body, and we don't have an accredited certification body, we don't have a certification. At least we can have a declaration. We can have an assurance of an Islamic center that something is halal or not, but certification must follow some standard that can be private, governments, or. So the other development was from no standard at all to private standard. What I mean for private standard, each single certification center was developing their own standard. Some of them was published and some not. you know that if a standard is not published, I know that students for sure know what I'm saying, okay? It is not possible for consumer to understand what's the meaning of this logo. And finally, we went from private standards to standards, and especially international standards. But what about the market? In the beginning, the market for halal in Italy was only ethnic shops. So we had a lot of immigrants that obviously was looking for their food in the market, and this food had to be halal. Was this food really halal? We don't know. People assumed that the food was halal just because it was coming from their countries. But we know that it's not true, because, for example, if you consider Gulf countries, 80% of raw materials come from Europe. So even if they are producing in Islamic countries, they cannot be sure that the product is halal. So the development was going from ethnic shops to hypermarket corner, from retail to online, from retail to HoReCa, because finally we had the first restaurants, catering, and also institutional catering. As I was beautifully introduced before, we have the honor to certify the cuisine of the President of Italian Republic and all the military institution. So it was a big step for Italy. And obviously from private to institution, as I told you, and to duty-free segment. There was a difference also in prices, because we have now, it is impressive. We have some data in this scheme showing you how much the consumer is willing to pay more the products if the product is halal certified. And it's impressive because you go from a 20%, 30% to a 400% of sweets and especially candies. But we know that this increasing in price is not really halal, because what our religion say is you can change the amount, the price of something if the quality or quantity of the products change. So in this case, the quality changed because we have halal certification, but not at the point to allow these prices. Another development was we went from food to feed, and finally to cosmetics. As you heard before, our center is particularly known for cosmetics and pharmaceuticals, not because we are the best, but because we are one of the few. Certification of cosmetics is very complicated, because in a food company you can have 100 raw material, 200 raw material, 300 raw material maximum, but in cosmetics you can have like the last company we certified was 8,200 raw material, and you know that you have to check one by one to have halal certificate, to have technicians that are expert in cosmetic. And obviously from cosmetic to pharmaceutical, and to pharma to leather, fashion, and more. Why all this development? Because before we didn't had standards for this. Malaysia was one of the first country, and I say one of the first because as I well remember, the first standard was in 2003 in Brunei, but immediately after, Malaysia came with all the other standards. So for this reason, Malaysia was the leading countries for all the world for halal, because finally we had standard, and Malaysia developed standard for everything. So finally we had the standard for cosmetics, for pharmaceuticals, for logistics, tourism, banking, insurance, leasing, and more. And also standard for hospitality. Our center in 2015 launched this program that is called Italia Beiti. Beit in Arabic is home, Beiti is my home, so I feel at home in Italy, to certify catering, restaurants, hotel to receive Muslim tourists in Italy. I give you a data. We have in Italy a lot of Muslim tourism, but even if Italy is one of the most wanted destination for tourism, 70% of Muslim population consider Italy not a good place to go on holiday because of food. Yes, even if we have fantastic food, and it's true, we had till some years ago no halal restaurants at all. Things are changing, and alhamdulillah, also with the help of our center, and I'm very proud of this. There was a development also in the communication. So from no communication at all, what I mean, the first companies that get the halal certification, they didn't want to communicate in Italy or Europe this. They just used the certification to export, but they was afraid that the non-Islamic consumer could have some issue about the halal food. And one of the bigger development was going from no communication to advertising the halal in the social, in the TV, in the radio, and from dedicated branded, separated from the real brand to the own brand, from only immigrants as a consumer to the Italian Muslim consumer, and to the Muslim consumer to halal for everybody. Because also in Italy now, people, one part of the Italian population know what is halal and know that halal is not only for Muslim, but is a guarantee for everybody of traceability, of safety, and of ethics of the products. Finally, from internal market to export and to European market. I don't know if you are aware, but in this moment, the best market to sell halal products is Europe itself. Why this? If you are a consumer in Saudi, for example, you take for granted that everything is halal, but we know that this is not true. But if you are Muslim like me in European market, you take for granted that everything is haram, and you need to have an assurance that is an halal certification that everything is halal. And obviously we had also some technological development. Finally, we have a mobile app, not only to see if there is some halal restaurant or to check the status of halal products, but also for the certification centers to develop all the procedures. And we have blockchain for traceability of the products. So after this beautiful overview in which you could see how in 20 years we started from nothing and we arrived to a system, I honestly have to say there are some critical points. Sorry for the mistake in writing. Okay, certification. Okay. What is the challenges in implementation of halal in Italy? First of all, I don't know if you are aware, there is no agreement within the state and the religion. So Italian government till now doesn't have any agreement with Islam. And for this reason, it is impossible to have a government standard. Obviously, if you don't have a government standard, you also don't have a regulation to the accreditation of the local halal certification body. And this is a problem because in this moment in Italy, there are, I don't say thousands, but a lot of halal certification centers. Some of them are even not Muslim, okay, and even not with Muslim auditor. But because we don't have a standard and we don't have an accreditation of local CB, except for we have an accreditation under GAC standard, that is the GALF, that is performed by our National Accreditation Center, but we don't have accreditation of our local CB. And so the problem is also the standards. Some CB can apply, can be a private standard that is not published. If the standard is not published, the consumer is not able to recognize the product and to understand what is the meaning of the halal for this CB. And last but not least, the difficulties in finding trained, graduated, and Muslim auditors. I told you that we are 2 to 4 million Muslim in Italy, but to find young graduated, because you know that auditors in halal certification must be Muslim and must be graduated, not like the ISO. You know that for ISO standards, you must have only a diploma. But for halal certification, you must be graduated in the discipline you are certifying. So you must be food technologist or biologist or pharmacist or cosmetologist or veterinary. And you must also be trained, and you must also be I don't know the word in English, sorry for me, sorry for this. By the way, you must be trained. So in Italy, this is a problem because we have few young Muslim technicians, and we sometimes need to ask for the help of other countries to get good auditors. So as a conclusion, what is the situation of halal in Italy? Halal food, and not only food, is no more a taboo in mainstream media and outdoor placement. Competition is fierce and promoting budgets will explode. Halal food is no more exotic or ethnic, but it's a food for everybody. Halal market is increasing and everybody wants a slice in the market. And the key points for the future are a trustable certificate, but I think this is not only in Italy. Italian legislation on halal mark, custom control on imported halal, because the legislation we have now is to export, but we don't have in Italy a legislation to import. So what happens when another halal products come from abroad? Nobody cares. It's not considered as halal. It is imported like food or cosmetic. So being no legislation in this and no control, anything can mark as halal and enter the market. And obviously, this is a problem for consumer protection. Appropriate marketing and communication, and obviously traceability. What are the solutions for, in my opinion? Adoption of one standard that can be an international standard. In the case of our certification center, it is OIC standard. And my proposal is to adopt OIC standard, the SMIC OIC standard for Italian market too, as we do. Partnership with international universities to develop common procedures and exchange competencies and the students. Dialogue between foreign institutions to facilitate exchange of goods and professionals. And just to finish the presentation, and obviously I am open to all your questions, every kind of question, I just want to very, very briefly introduce our certification center that, as I told you, was the first one in Italy, settled in Italy under the international standards. And obviously we certify food, feed, cosmetic, pharma, hospitality, and logistic. You can see our logo, and you can see an example of number of traceability that we use obviously to have a chain of traceability for the product. How it is structured at our center, we have three main departments. The first one is the technical department. As I told you, our auditors are all graduate or all Muslims, obviously, and all graduated in the discipline they are going to certify. They are also trained in ISO 22000, 9001, and some of them are lead auditor of other scheme of certification, and they are trained obviously on halal. Then we have Sharia auditors that in Italy are mainly imam. You probably know that we don't have muftis in Italy, except if they go studying abroad or they come from abroad. And we have a lab test, obviously an accredited lab test for halal. And the union of these three departments give the certificate. Who decide about the certificate? Obviously, there is a certification board that consider the technical outcome, the Sharia outcome, the lab test outcome, and there is a mufti under all those departments that give the certification. But we have also a legal department to check how the companies use the logo and use the certificate, and to be sure that there is no misunderstanding or any other misuse of the obviously mark and the certificate. And this is doing autonomously from the legal department. Just to finish, Italia is partner of Italian and international universities for training of halal internal auditor and halal auditor in the field of halal certification. If any student from Malaysia wants to apply for internship or to come and do 2-3 months in Italy to exchange competence, you can write to our address, ufficio@certifizazionehalal.com. Shukran jazilan, thank you very much. And I am open to all your questions.
Okay, thank you, Anna, for the great sharing. Actually, we're going to have the Q&A session at the end of the session, but I think that we have one interesting question. Yeah. There is a question from Fatin Nabila binti Mat Idris. The question is, there are many Italian foods that use liquor. If I were to try the menus, what ingredients is the best to replace liquor to get the similar taste?
Can I answer? But it's just my opinion as a Muslim. Another thing is the certification center, okay? I think you should just remove these ingredients. You should not try to find something that seems liquor, because if liquor is haram, you don't have, in my opinion, to find something that have the same taste. Okay, because my personal opinion, okay, is our religion is more about intention. So if your intention is to eat halal, you remove the haram. But if this test is necessary to maintain the taste of the Italian cuisine, obviously you have many and many ways to replace. Wine is not used in the Italian cuisine only for the taste. It is used also for the reaction. For example, wine in a risotto is not only about the taste, because the taste you can obtain with in other way. Okay, it is used to put together the ingredients. So we used to replace this with other ingredients. Okay, wine is also used with the meat. Is also used with the fish, but there is many and many. If you want, next time I can share a table of the usual replacement of the different wine and beers, okay, in the receipt. Even if when we teach to our chef how to replace, we usually suggest to replace with something that has a different taste, but adding some spices, okay, to obtain the same effect. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, so we have some comments. If you can see from Mr. Muhammad Nur Ismail, one of the hit centers. Mm-hmm. So Mr. No Ismail is one of the hit centers from the Faculty of Hotel. Thank you for being with us, Mr. No Ismail. Yeah, yes, true, Madam Anna. I only able to eat veggie pizza when I was visiting Rome and Venice back in 2018. Okay.
That's because you didn't ask me. You should next time, but you are true. Not till 2018, but till 2015, when I had a guest, even an important guest, and they asked me where can I eat halal in Venice. I used to answer, I can tell you where don't eat haram, but not where to eat halal. Because I guess that if somebody is asking me to eat halal, it means halal certified.
Yeah.
There is a difference between to eat halal and eat halal certified. Okay, to eat halal, you just remove something. To eat halal certified, you want an insurance that also the cuisine has implemented a system to avoid contamination, and that is separated for haram, and probably that you have no alcohol. But from 2015, as I told you, we have now a program that is growing. Imagine that the municipality of Rome is sponsoring a project with our center on halal, and is sponsoring the certification of museum and restaurants for tourism. So there is a big movement, and alhamdulillah, something is moving. Yeah. But next time, call me.
All right. Okay. Mr. Muhammad Nur Ismawi texting us to ask about, is Italy considered to promote Muslim-friendly tourism in the future?
Yes, it's already doing, as I told you before. The program for Muslim-friendly hospitality started in 2015, and we started from the end. So we started in asking the other countries if there was a real interest, and we have now more than 400 tour operators interested in buying the packaging for halal tourism, but we are running on the certification. It is not simple because Italy is an economy based on wine. The food economy is a large part is wine and pork, and we have a lot of products that are haram for us, but because we have a lot of tourism coming from Islamic countries, but not only, a lot of Muslim tourists, we are implementing very well the process. What is really important is to have a halal certified process, because you can find a lot of app in which they promote you a list of halal restaurants. You must sure that you have a certification, because it can be auto declared. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Anna, for the great sharing, for the great explanation. Gracia Mille and Gracia Decore, you have done a great effort.
You speak a good Italian.
We will learn more from you later on. You have done a great effort and contributions relating to halal in Italy, especially in creating the halal standards. And it's good to hear the development of halal activities in the non-Islamic countries. Again, our heartfelt gratitude to Anna for the presentation, and to all participants and the viewers. If you have some more questions to ask Anna, you can ask Anna, not Elsa. We don't have Elsa here. We only have Anna. Kindly wait for the question and answer session after we have completed the presentation from our second speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, let us open our eyes, our hearts, and our mind to our next guest speaker from Japan. Mr. Taka Hashimoto is also a great friend of mine. is a business consultant in halal industry since 2013. Regarding to the knowledge of halal requirements, he has taken many series of training in Halal Industry Development Corporation, or we known as HDC in Malaysia. And now he is working with Japanese, Malaysian, Indonesian companies for business development, business matching, promotion, IT, outsourcing, and etc. between Japan and Asian countries, especially in the Islamic countries, as well as the consultant for the halal industry. Without any further ado, let us invite Mr. Taka Hashimoto to share his tremendous effort and experience in halal implementation and challenges in Japan. Over to you, Taka-san.
Thank you. Thank you. Selamat malam, all participants tonight. Thank you for inviting me this webinar. I'm very honored to share my knowledge and experience in Japan, halal industry in Japan with Malaysian students. And also I'm very much appreciated for Fatahiyah sensei to give me the great opportunity tonight. So today, I would like to share my knowledge and experience with halal industry in Japan. So can I share my presentation slide? Please wait for a moment. So can you see my slide? Okay, good.
Okay, yes, we can see it now.
Okay, so please see this photo, this one. Please see this photo. This is a photo for Malaysian booth in Fabex Tokyo 2021, this April. This is one of the biggest food expo in Japan. So too many Japanese buyers came here, and also this year, unfortunately, this year is a COVID situation, so not many number of the foreign countries, but usually many countries exporter come to here and display their product. So this year, only 5 Malaysian companies display Malaysian halal product to Japanese food buyers. So that kind of the challenges to enter Japan market is keeping by Malaysian company over 10 years. But unfortunately, the results are still not big. I think the reason is on both sides in Japan and Malaysia. In Japan, our awareness of the halal is not common. In Malaysian side, a basic understanding of halal, a Japanese halal market is not enough. So tonight, I would like to share a basic understanding and challenging of halal market in Japan, also share new initiative of halal industry in Japan. Okay, so next is, first I would like to do my introduction a little. So my name is Taka Hashimoto. I'm working with Malaysian Indonesian company as a partner consultant. And my first contact with halal industry was in Dubai in 2009. I was involving to export Japanese high-value fruits to the Middle East countries. At that time, the project was stopped by the big earthquake in Fukushima 2011. So after that, I am working as a representative of Japanese company in Kuala Lumpur and start involving halal industry more. My most big project in halal industry is creating Malaysia Muslim-friendly tour to Japan from Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, and Dubai. After that, I had training in HDC and about halal industry fundamentals, best practice, internal auditing, and assurance managing system. So my knowledge of halal industry is based on Malaysian standard. So now I'm doing business development, business matching, IT outsourcing, promotion in Japan and Asian countries, especially Malaysia and Indonesia. So next is just show my best partner in Malaysia. So my best partner in Malaysia is Israel Venture and H1's Global Logistics. They provide a one-stop service for Malaysian company to go into the global market, including Japan. So now I'm working with them. So okay, so let's start to my presentation tonight. So tonight I would like to discuss with you as follows point. The first topic is halal industry in Japan. It is about basic food culture in Japan, halal market, and halal industry in Japan. Second topic is halal implementation and challenges in Japan. Especially tonight, I'd like to share about new challenges in Japan. All of my speech is from the view of a businessman, and I'm not Muslim, so if I have something wrong or something misunderstanding, please teach me. Okay, so next slide is I want to show one picture in halal restaurant in Japan. What do you think? Is it halal restaurant or not? It was a real photo at the restaurant at the airport in Haneda in Japan. So this restaurant served curry, snack, and drink and beer. Their signboard in English said, "Our shop is a friendly halal shop." But in Japanese said, "We are friendly halal certified restaurant." But they served pork curry and also only the curry plate, these two, was certified by local masjid. So I think the operator of this restaurant did not understand the requirement of the halal certification well. So they said they are the halal certified restaurant. But also the local masjid issue halal certification for them also did not guide them well. So some Japanese consumer very confused. Why this is halal shop but served alcohol? Muslim can enjoy the alcohol, beer or not? So that kind of misunderstanding happened in Japan everywhere related in halal industry. So that kind of the lack of the awareness about halal industry makes a misunderstanding to Japanese business players. So first, I would like to ask you understand about the basic food culture in Japan. Because if you are not familiar with it, you cannot understand the halal situation in Japan. So first, I introduce the basic 5 seasoning in Japan. This is sugar, salt, vinegar, soy sauce, and bean paste. So last 3 is including alcohol. The average in Japan, vinegar is almost 0.2%. Soy sauce, usually 2 to 3%. Bean paste is very small amount. So this 5 ingredient is everywhere, every dishes in Japan. So, and also, you know the Japanese sake, traditional alcohol in Japan. Also, it is everywhere on Japanese menu. Because it is not only the important seasoning, but also it will take important roles at the social event, like a New Year celebration, wedding party, funeral, etc. So the alcohol is everywhere in the Japanese food. So second point is animal meat. So we Japanese start to consume animal meat around 150 years ago when we opened the border to the Western countries. Because the original Buddhism prohibit to take a life from other animals. So we eat only the rice, vegetable, fish, and sometimes we consume the animal meat. So before the open the border, we didn't consume it, but except in special case, like bird, eggs, and the rabbit we consume. I don't know why we can eat the bird and rabbit, but before we believe bird and egg can consume, and also rabbit is categorized as a bird, so we can consume it, rabbit and bird. We believe the rabbit can fly using their long ears, like this. And also some reason, like Okinawa is very similar to China. So Okinawa region consume the pork and alcohol too much. And also some people living in a mountain, we call the matagi. Matagi is a traditional animal hunters. They also consume. And when we have ill, we will consume animal meat as a treatment. So remove pork meat from the Japanese menu is not difficult because we have many menu with not using the animal resources, but it is difficult to remove the alcohol from the Japanese menu. So maybe it is same in Italy. So these two points you should understand about the basic food culture in Japan. When you understand about the Japanese food industry. So next slide is halal market in Japan. So this small infograph I made it using for the official statistics by the government and the media source and the paper by the Japanese scholar to study about the Islamic culture. So the first number is estimated Muslim population. This is approximately maybe 200,000 only. Our total population is 1.2 billion. So percentage of the Muslim live in Japan is only 0.16%. What do you think? It is too small or not? The second important number is number of the mosques. It is over 105 places in 36 prefectures. We have 49 prefectures, so it means Muslim living nationwide. Of course, they are living in the city center and near university and near factory area is more. But all region, all prefecture, all big city, small city have a Muslim in Japan. And third number is national origin. This is most important influence to halal industry in Japan. So my understanding is the principle of halal is only one in the world. But the practice of halal depends on the region, food, climate, society, and so on. So now in Japan, many of the Muslims come from Indonesia. The second is Pakistan, Bangladesh, Malaysia, and Turkey. So many of them is student and factory workers. So after 4 years, 5 years, they are back to their countries. So sometimes sometimes they are not involving to develop the halal industry in Japan. So this is the most big issue in Japan. And also, this is the cause of the misunderstanding for halal by Japanese. For example, some Muslim from the Middle East said it doesn't allow to use ethanol for sanitization in the restaurant because it is one of the alcohol. But in Asian Muslim, like a Malaysian said, it is allowed to use because Malaysian standard not prohibit to use for the cleanup in the restaurant. So many of the Japanese not familiar with halal, so very confused. So someone feel why Muslim say different things, different in the different station. So something very big confused we have. And last number is estimate number of the Muslim tourists in Japan. This number is 2028 and 2029. So approximately 700 to 800,000 a year. This is 2.2% of the total overseas tourists. So what do you think? This number is big or not? I think it is not enough number of attracting all tourism industry players. So meaning it's maybe 100 tourists come to Japan, but only 2 or 3% is Muslim. So you should know the halal market in Japan is niche. Sometimes you will see the big news on the Malaysian media like this. The Japanese government and Malaysian government will agree to implement a new initiative about encouraging halal industry like for the Olympic game. But the reality, yeah, it is true, but the reality is not big project, not big initiative, especially for attracting Japanese industrial players. This is the reality of the Japanese halal market. But it not means no future of halal market in Japan. It means the entrepreneur to enter the halal market must prepare well before start the business. If no plan, cannot survive. If a good plan, maybe they can make a big business in Japan. So go to the second, next slide. So next slide is a summary of the halal industry in Japan. As you know, our halal market is niche. Already I talked to. Because any kind of official regulation about halal doesn't have yet, not like Malaysia. Because the Japanese government clearly said they will not involve any kind of religion activity except traditional religion like Shinto, temple, and church, and some mosque already have a long history from the 18th centuries, and for protecting people from the cults religion. So encouraging exporting halal product is their scope in the Japanese government scope as an industrial promotion. But religion, create regulation of the halal certification is not their scope. And we are very difficult to find official economic statistics about halal industry because our government think this is related in the religious activity. So we don't have any official numbers about the halal. And so we are sometimes very confused. Some research confused. So now I'm talking about halal certification body. So some research said Japanese will have over 100 halal logo, and too many halal CVs, cannot count. So one example, I met one guy in Kyoto. He sell to the halal certificate, halal logo to the Japanese entrepreneur. So he said his logo is the cheapest in the world, only $2,000 forever and whatever you can use. That kind of the CV in Japan, so we are very confused, especially the serious entrepreneur want to go into the halal market. And we have only 7 certification body are recognized by JAKIM. I think they are the very serious CV in Japan. And the major business area is in halal industry in Japan is tourism and HoReCa sector. and also food service for the local market, like a local restaurant, retail store, e-commerce shop is the second biggest major area. About the food, halal food manufacturing, it booming is over now. Now vegan attract the manufacturers, Japanese manufacturers. So the last so I show the photo in the Fabex in Tokyo. That time, halal manufacturer only 20 companies, but the vegan and the vegetarian sector over 100 Japanese manufacturers joined there. So, but now new challenges already start now because the Muslim population is increasing year by year. So, and the second, the next topic is a major difficulty in Japan. I think this is two. One is a market volume. Already I talked about it. The Muslim population will be about 200,000 only. So we need to the good business plan, good marketing for make up a good profit in Japan, in Japanese halal industry. Second big issue is lack of industrial ecosystem, not like Malaysia. So we don't have enough of the raw material, halal raw material. We don't have enough of the halal talent, not like Malaysia, because I cannot see any university, any company to teach or to develop the new talent for this industry. And also we have no awareness, no knowledge and experience in Japan. So because we don't have any ecosystem, because we don't have enough market in domestic. So the Japanese halal industrials looking for the new opportunity in Malaysia and Indonesia, in Middle East, the overseas Islamic countries. Okay. So after that, I would like to talk about a new initiative in Japan. So now, I propose to the many of the Japanese players, industrial players. So please change the target to Muslim to Japanese. If we stick to the Muslim consumer only, maybe we cannot survive for the future. So maybe, not maybe, already you know, halal is not an issue of the component only. It must clear about Toiban concept. So Toiban concept is including for practice to be good for all human. So why not? Our halal industry in Japan, we try to attract the ordinary Japanese consumers. If we can get the new Japanese consumers, market will be expand, and our halal industry will have a good future. And also we can improve the quality of life of the Muslim living in Japan. So I want to show some new initiative in Japan. This is case study for the Malaysian meat curry arranged for Japanese. At the Japanese hotel, name is Paprika Hotel in Chiba, nearby my house. Please see this photo. This is a signboard, and this is a Penang curry meat for arranged by the Paprika Hotel. This is a Italian pasta using for the meat, and this is also another menu like a jala cake, roti jala. They made it. So this meat is serving in the Paprika Hotel. What I said, the Paprika Hotel is established as a Muslim-friendly hotel a couple of years ago. The owner said he would like to introduce authentic Malaysian menu to Japanese customer at his restaurant in the hotel. So he hired 3 Malaysian chefs at first. But after that, owner realized the Japanese consumer are not familiar with Malaysian food, so many of them don't want to eat and don't want to come again his restaurant. So owner decided to modify the taste for more preferred to Japanese. So this karimi is one of their success menus. Many ladies, Japanese ladies, think it is a Malaysian style curry udon if using the yellow meat, the original yellow meat. I don't know why, but many of Japanese don't like original yellow meat. So he changed it to the Italian pasta. This one, eh? Can you see the Italian pasta in here, right? So now after that, change to the Italian pasta, many of the ladies said, I prefer it. And also upload the photo in the Instagram and Facebook. So after that, many of the Japanese ladies come to restaurant and also repeat every week, every month. So now this Malaysian Penang mee is changed the category Asian curry udon to Malaysian fashionable lunch. And also another point is they kitchen and ingredients are halal. Not only this, all menu is halal, but they don't say anything to customer. It is halal food. Because if they show on the big halal mark on the wall, maybe Japanese customers think, oh, this is not for me. It is special menu for the Muslim. So now the owner don't say anything about halal, this menu, and also they don't say anything. They don't promote the day at halal restaurant to the Japanese customer. I think it will need to more time that Japanese consumers will accept halal food in daily life. But if the industry player doesn't change the consumer, stick to the Muslim consumer in Japan, it is difficult to sustain the halal industry in Japan. So I'm very happy to some company to start to that kind of new initiative, new challenges in Japan, in halal industry in Japan. And the next case study is the halal rating system. It is it is my initiative, the collaborative with the Malaysian, my partner. Halal rating system, this. So this is some kind of gap analysis, compare the current halal situation and ideal situation judged by Malaysian halal standard. It will have very unique impact, especially to Japanese newcomers in halal industry. It will be operate at the online system or small application on the PC. The user will be able to understand how close to be their product to halal. So many of the entrepreneurs said they are very worried about the initial investment for adopting halal, also the risk not being able to retrieve it back. So this analysis will show the difficulty of adopting halal using that kind of the clear numbers. So it will be very useful to estimate their business risk for adopting halal. So maybe we can show these numbers. Some entrepreneur maybe stop adopting, but some entrepreneurs see like a number is 80-90%. They maybe decide to go into the halal market. So this is a very unique system, and also I never seen that kind of system in Japan. So we would like to start this system maybe this autumn for Japanese entrepreneurs. So second, the last case study is halal verification system. It is also now it's planning to start in Japan. So halal verification system is also encourage entrepreneur going to halal market, especially for export. When the company would like to start selling their product in Islamic market, like in Malaysia, they will do marketing first. If it is food or cosmetic, it will be difficult to marketing without halal logo, especially food tasting. But if no marketing, it is very dangerous. So this system provide to the reasonable cost for applying and maintaining halal logo, especially SMEs. Not halal logo, not halal logo, halal verification logo to provide to the SMEs. So this system is to validate halalness before starting a full-scale business with a reasonable cost. The third party like us will validate the halalness about the product when a company would like to do a test marketing, exhibition, etc. The requirement will be follow Malaysian standard. So this is not halal logo, but some kind of the Muslim will accept to consume or will accept it is halal product. So some company will scared to lose and give up to enter the halal market. For sometimes Malaysian buyer ask to get halal logo before enter the market. So maybe this system can reduce their business risk for enter the halal market. So both system, halal rating and verification, will encourage Japanese company to do business in halal market. So it will start this autumn by our group. I think both is a very unique and fast service in Japan for encourage the halal entrepreneurs in Japan. So thank you for your attention to my presentation. My presentation is finished now, but I want to say something to the Malaysian student. I hope it will be useful. I hope it will be useful to you understand about the situation of the halal industry in Japan. And I'm waiting as one of the entrepreneurs in Japan. I'm waiting for a challenge. You come to Japan to enter the Japanese halal market, especially Malaysian young entrepreneurs. So thank you for your attention again, and thank you for giving me the opportunity tonight. Thank you so much. Terima kasih banyak.
Thank you so much to Mr. Taka Hashimoto. Domo arigatou gozaimashita for your great and impressive sharing, which we know that the halal concept is today mushrooming in Japan. We know that halal is becoming a new trending topic, and it covers not only food and drink, but is more widely applied to other aspects such as cosmetic, clothing, pharmaceuticals, and even tour packages that can be certified as halal. Given the fact that Tokyo has been chosen the host to the Olympic and the Paralympic Games, it has no exaggeration to say that Japan are able to handle the demands of visitors from different countries and different culture. Like what Mr. Taka had mentioned before, halal products must be good for all humans, good for society, safety and security. All right, now we come to the question and answer session. Our professional and expert technical team will help us to choose the question from the viewers. And we go to the question that we have here. From Brother Amir Izzat. do both countries actually able to promote their national signature dishes to Muslim and still retain the taste of it despite changing the ingredients with the halal one?
Can I start?
Yes, sure.
Yes, for sure. For sure. And this is what we try to teach to our chefs, how to maintain a real Italian cuisine, just changing some ingredients in halal ingredients, but maintaining the taste of Italian cuisine. Because tourists coming to Italy, they don't want to eat ethnics. Okay, usually we send them to eat Pakistani or Iranian or Turkish, but they want to experience Italian cuisine as well as they want to experience Japanese cuisine. So we must make an effort. And I give you my example. I am the only Muslim in my family, and I went to a graduation of my niece last week. Everybody was eating 10 dishes, and for me only white rice, because they didn't know what I can eat. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is incredible because actually we can eat everything and we need only some attention. Obviously, both Italy and Japan has some plates in which wine is one of the ingredients. Okay, you can replace in many ways the wine, depending if it is white or red or if it is a liqueur, and you have a lot of ingredients that can give the same taste. Or you can remove this, and sometimes the dishes has not a very different flavor. But especially it comes from the ingredient. To change the Parmigiano in Parmigiano halal is not a matter on how you cook, but how you produce the Parmesan. Okay. And the same is for many other, obviously, dishes. But for sure, to answer the question, yes, we can do it.
Okay, what about from Japan?
I think same. So I'm not. I'm just enjoy the eat. So I cannot cook. So I explain about one actual case about ramen. Do you familiar with ramen? Ramen usually made from the pork.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, pork. But we have another type of ramen, like fish ramen, also chicken ramen. The fish ramen, chicken ramen taste is totally different from the rather than the pork one. But the taste is not same. But also they have another delicious taste. So yeah.
If
So
I
no
can
problem.
answer a question of one of the attendee, because I cannot answer by writing. I want to explain, but I read. Okay, so somebody asked, can I do a carbonara? Carbonara is a typical Italian pasta, okay, made with pork and egg. Okay, yes, we do, and obviously we have some fish carbonara. Okay, but there is also a meat carbonara. We usually replace the pork with deer. Okay, deer meat, and with some spices, and I assure you that the taste is completely the same.
Oh,
Okay,
I see.
so yes, we can do it. I know that you have a lot of Italian restaurants also, or Italian cuisine. I know Porto Romano in KL. Yeah.
Porto Romano.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Do we have some more question? Suddenly, I feel so hungry hearing about all those things. All right, a question from Aisha Atifa. Why do Japan have so many halal certified bodies?
Okay.
Italy too.
Yeah, I don't know why. We are the non-Muslim country, so why we have too many halal certified body? I don't know. But maybe like this, in Malaysia, the government control the halal ecosystem, including the certification body, right? But in Japan, nothing to do. And also, we don't have enough number of the specialists about halal certification, halal manufacturing, and also religious part. So the ordinary Muslim just start the business. They think what is a good business. Oh, okay, we issue the halal mark to the Japanese company. Maybe.
Does the halal logo seems intimidating to Japanese?
What is it? What do you say? What do you say? So please explain about her question.
All right.
I can answer from the Italian point of view. So maybe in the meantime, Taka-san can answer too. And for Italian consumer, it depends, because if they are Muslim, they recognize immediately the logo. And if they have two products, they choose the halal one. But the non-Muslim even don't know what the logo is, mostly. Okay, so they are not intimidated because mostly they don't know what it is, except for the meat. There is a lot of issue with animal protection and so on. And so when they see the logo halal on the meat, there is some issue. They think that halal slaughtering is particularly cruel and so on, but usually they don't know how halal slaughtering is performed in a normal slaughterhouse. And so they have not the real idea of what is the process and what is our protection for animal welfare. But mostly Italian consumers don't know what halal logo is, if they are not Muslim. So it depends. They are starting now to understand.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe same in Japan. Japanese consumer
Is it the
don't know.
same?
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, we have one more question from Associate Professor Dr. Rafi Asaidun. The development of halal products industry is growing rapidly in Japan, while most Japanese are not Muslim. Are the halal food mostly exported or for local consumption?
I think now most part is for local consumption, but except for the raw material for the food additives, some of the company already have a factory in Malaysia, Indonesia, and then Thailand. They made it the halal one, but for domestic. In domestic, many of the halal product for the domestic consuming.
For domestic consuming. Okay. All right. Do you have some question? All right. The question from Nur Nadira Zahari. Okay. One of the Japanese recent attraction is the vending machines with variety of products and interesting invention. Is it easy to find one of the include halal products?
Okay, very good question. If you try to find a halal certified product, very difficult. But if you try to find a halal product, maybe can. But usually product, nothing to say, it is halal or not. So you must see the ingredient, read and find. The no pork, no alcohol, no animal resources. That kind of product maybe you can find.
Okay.
Yeah, but for the vending machine, I think a little bit difficult. Usually vending machine, usually the product selling to vending machine, put on the alcohol for keep the taste and keep the life for the product.
Oh, I see. And Mr. Taka, I could see that you have the one of the Malaysian product behind you. Is that the banana milk from Nilofa? Is that? Wow, so you love it?
Okay. This is not selling in Japan. This is only for the tasting.
Oh,
My friend sent to the Malaysia. This one,
Okay.
nasi ayam, and
Nasi
this is
ayam.
teh tarik. This is teh tarik. This is
Teh
nasi ayam. This is
tarik.
teh tarik.
Will you like nasi ayam?
Yeah, of course lah.
Okay.
Yeah, now
Alright,
we are
then we can
exploiting
see.
the bias in Japan.
Mhm.
Japan product.
Okay, good. All right, we have one more question from Moonlight. Madam Anna, can we get the details about the internship in Italy? They comes there.
Absolutely. You
Students
write
are very
the
interesting.
address or to your professor, and she or me will give you the information. Okay,
Uh-huh.
I will share with your university.
Okay, so for the student, you can contact me or you can liaise with your head centers. Then we can discuss about this. Maybe we can do
Yeah.
some MOU for the internship. Maybe. All right, it's good for us to have the collaborations. All right,
Absolutely.
again from Nur Darira Zahari for Madam Anna Maria. Italy is known for its culture, especially the food, and as mentioned, many uses haram ingredients. This Muslim in Italy receives hate for modifying the ingredients to make it halal. It's a good question.
What do you mean if they receive hate? What's the meaning of hate? No, I don't know the words.
Is it being hated or what? Nur Darira.
If you mean if they are hated because they modify the ingredients, not at all. I mean, we have different options for different needs, and there's a restaurant that make the gluten-free, the bio, the organic, and now they are doing halal and kosher. Obviously,
Oh yes.
as a certification center, we don't certify halal a restaurant in Italy. It's very difficult, or an hotel. Why? Halal means you are completely no alcohol and completely no pork. Okay, we don't give Muslim friendly if there is pork in the menu, but if they sell alcohol, they can have an halal certified menu, but not halal certified restaurant. But they must have an HAS, implement an halal answer system for the cuisine, and have a separate kitchen, separate everything. Okay, all the equipment. And we put some stickers on all the equipments that are used for halal, so they cannot remove. There is obviously a lot of checking before, and the same for hotels. At now we didn't certify one hotel halal. You know why? If you want to really be halal in a hotel, do you require a marriage certificate when people book?
Yes. That's why. It's one of the reasons. Yes.
Yeah. It's very difficult to say it is halal. It is better for us to give a Muslim friendly. That means it is a place where everybody can go. But if you are Muslim, you can find what you need. You can find halal food. You can find halal menu. But real halal, I mean, you are sure that there is no contamination and that there is a cuisine dedicated. Okay?
Yeah. All right. So back to the question, Nur Dadira, he said that are they being criticized for changing the ingredients?
No, absolutely. We have a program that we call the cuisine of the book, in which we put together the three elementary how do you say the three standard for cuisine: the halal, the kosher, and the Christian cuisine. Okay, so we try to cook one plate that can go that can be eaten by everybody, and in the meantime, when the chef cook, we explain what is kosher, what is halal, and we explain that all the religion has some food standards, food regulation. Okay, but the difference is that Islam and Hebrew, they transformed this regulation into certification. By the way, all the religion have regulation. And so we teach to the population what is the differences, what are the differences, but especially what we have in common. And it is very interesting. No, people don't hate us to change the ingredients, but they are very curious.
Okay, all right. Okay, I think we can take one more question from Al-Hakim Zulkifli. Question for Mr. Taka. What kind of halal talents do you think is needed to promote the halal industry in Japan?
Okay. It is very difficult to say, but now we need to the person understand about the halal industrial regulation, like system of the halal certification system, on the understanding about the principle or basic concept of the halal toiban, that kind of the people, that kind of the consultant, that kind of the staff working in the company, we are totally lack of that kind of the talent. So sometimes the Malaysian university and the Malaysian company, HR company asked me to send to the halal executive to Japan. But we need to the more basic talent to understand about the halal or halal industry.
All right, so it seems that we're going to finish to end the session. We have one more, is it? A very insightful session. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, now we have come to end of the session. Sadly, to announce that we have come to the end of the session. Before we end for today, on behalf of ACIS UiTM, we really hope that from our discussion today will help the students and the viewers to understand more on the halal implementation and challenges in Italy and Japan. And on behalf of ACIS UiTM, again, our heartfelt gratitude to both of our guest speakers. Gracia mille, gracia di cuore, domo arigato gozaimasu. Thank you for making time with us today. Thank you for the fruitful sharing of insights for this magnificent session today. And thank you for making this event a success. May the symphony rhythm of knowledge that had been showered to us today will make us better and better each day, and to become a better person for us to live in peace and harmony here in the hereafter. Is a very good sharing for today. We hope that inshallah we're going to have another session with you soon in the future, inshallah, so that we can continue our discussion with Anna Maria, the great sister, and with the Taka-san, a great friend to us. Inshallah, we will keep on contacting, we keep in touch. And inshallah, maybe some of the student or the officer will be keep in touch together, and maybe we can do some more collaboration in the future, inshallah. Okay, so to end the session, I'm very sad to announce to end the session. For the Muslim, let us close our session today with the recitation of Tasbih Kafarah and Surah Al-As. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to all the students, friends, and the viewers. Have a pleasant day and hope to see you again. Take care and stay safe and good night. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. And tomorrow night, support Italy in the match. Huh?
Oh yeah, okay, all right, we will do.